يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Brothers and sisters, and we always praise Allah, always before we speak. I want you to always remember that before we speak, we should always introduce Allah as the priority and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, acknowledging and sending peace and blessings upon him before we get into any topics. It's very important to remember that we're nothing and we were nothing, except that Allah gave us the intellect, the eyes, the faculties to be able to do what we're doing. And we have to show gratitude. Allah loves servants who are grateful to him. And we always want to make that a priority introduction. It's not really something just to say that here's some Arabic words. It's really something that you should have in your heart to remind you of the favors that we cannot count that Allah has bestowed upon us. So how everybody doing? Great. Is it early for you to 10:30?
Yes.
No.
Is it?
Yes.
You wanted to sleep? I can see it in your face, bro.
I don't want to sleep. I just want to stay.
You just wanted to stay home. Well, alhamdulillah, you have a lot of time to stay home, inshallah. You get a couple of hours here, you know. But I thank everybody for coming out. So this topic, the reality of this dunya, I want to first engage you. And I want to know what you think the dunya is. I'm going to go around, and anyone who puts their hands up, I want to know what you think. What is the dunya? You know, you hear this word all the time, hayat dunya, right? And you always hear people saying, hey, don't be in the dunya, you know, stay away from the dunya, you know. What does that actually mean? So what is your understanding of what the dunya is? Yes, sister. Oh.
The temporary world.
The temporary world. Great, that's good. How about you, brother?
What, the life we live in now?
Okay, that's cool. Right? Who else? Anybody else? So you living in this world and you don't have a concept, an idea. What the dunya is? How about you? No? Yes.
The world that like builds us up to go to dinner, or like that, I don't know how to say it, but like we practice or like do something to get to dinner, or like the afterlife.
I see where you're going. So you're saying this is the world, the stepping stone, the things we do here in this world to get to Jannah. That's great. That's great. That's really good. Okay, brother. Life. Okay, that's good. Hayat dunya, the life of this world. Anybody else? About the scholars in front of us.
I would just say the world we live in today.
The world we living in today. And so we would like to know what that is, the world that we're living. That's a good definition, though. The world that we're living in today. And I want you to pay attention. The world that you're living in today, you have to pay attention what that is. Right? Anybody else? Dunya. Okay. So yeah, that's fair enough. You know, actually the dunya, it's actually not the world itself. It's not the world, right? It's actually the things in the world, right? And so the life that we live is what makes dunya, right? And so there are things that Allah mentions about, you know, make sure that you get your share in this world's life. So how do you get shares? They're tangible things. They're things that we do in the world, but it's not the world itself. It's the way we live, as one has said, the life of this world. Actually, to get in, remember yesterday we talked about how to really define words and etymology, derivatives, and where words come from. You know, so there's a word. I don't know if people will see me if I move here.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be better, right? You guys, I want you guys to write definitions down. You know, so this is your dean. So just like in school, you'll have to write things down, right? So it comes from this word, right? This root word, right? Dana, right? It means he or it was low, right? Base, right? Vile or weak, right? Inferior, right? Or deficient, right? And then you have this other word, Dunia, right? Which basically means nearer than another thing. Anybody know what that thing is? Nearer than another thing, or inferior to that. Now you see how we talked about dunya and we pointed out all the things. Now, where do you see that word or your definition that you gave? Where does it fit here? Right? You follow me? But this is the concept of why you want to go look at root words. Like when you go in the dictionary, you always want to look up the basis of the word, where the word dunya come from, before we can get into our topic. And before you can know the reality of something, you have to know the reality of that something. And based on getting the reality of that something, you have to derive where it comes from. And then we can talk about the other aspects. So basically, he or it was low, base, vile, or weak, inferior, deficient. Doing that, nearer than another thing. Anybody know what that other thing is? Or inferior to that? What is it? Yes. Right. Al-akhirah. It is nearer than another. This life, isn't it close? Here and now, you said, presently what we're living, then the hereafter? Yeah, so it gets its meaning from that, right? That you said that. So one reason it is closer, right, to the humans than the hereafter, right? It is closer to the humans than the hereafter, right? Number two is called that. It is also despicable. And low. Right? What they call Dunia, right? Dunia, right? Low. Abased. Compared, right, to the hereafter, right? Now here's the other part. All the meanings of it, it means transitional. Anybody know what that means? Transitional or temporary. Who said that before? Yes. Right? You see that? Transitional or temporary. So basically, when we look at this word, we see that it is basically low in the base. When you compare this world's life to the hereafter, of course, it's inferior to the hereafter. And so the things that we do in this world could either be beneficial or it could be abased, low, despicable, right? And so it gets its name because temporary, it will not last. And not knowing the reality of this world, the way people live today, as you said, presently, right? How we living, look at how people are living. They call this they said, this is the life, right? And what is this life? You see the people on commercials living it up on yachts, on an island, sitting back with a Corona beer, right? These are the things, this is the life, you know. You have these rappers with the big jewelry and chains and gold in their mouths, and they're saying, this is the life, right? So you see the bling bling, which they call, is another word that you want to get familiar with in the surah, right? You'll find this word in surah, what's it called? Al-Hadi, ayat 20, right? Ayat 20. And it talks about zina. One of the attributes of this dunya is zina, not zina, not the one to fornication and adultery. Zina means, anyone know what zina means? Something beautiful or beautified. So the guys, what they call it, with the gold and all that, what they call it? What's that the fancy name they say? He has a lot of, it starts with a B. Who said it? Said bling? Yes, bling bling. So basically, zina is bling bling, right? Right? It's bling bling. Everything you see, all the jewelry, this is what dunya is. It's things in the world that people take possession in, they take pride in. In fact, it becomes like the worshiping of the dinar. They worship the money. They worship the clothes. They worship the jewelry. It's funny that how the system of slavery after in the African continent of the African people who were put into slavery used to have chains on their wrists, their ankles, and necks, right? And did you not know that they used to classify the slaves, the dark-skinned slaves and the light-skinned ones, and the ones had gold caps in their teeth to mark them, and the other ones have silver caps in their teeth. Now look at this, how slavery has come to another level. So those same chains, they were just rusty. Now it's gold and silver. What they call it, ice?
Yeah.
Ice, ice, yeah. So now after the slavery, now you're a slave to the dinar, the dirham, right? Now they're putting it on, they're wearing it. This is what dunya is, right? And so now they put the gold caps in their teeth, silver, they got silver, gold, right? And this is what dunya is, the material world, right? And basically it distracts people from the hereafter. And so Shaitan, he's part of the whole setup because he uses this world to distract you. What's another thing? I want to know some tangible things we just pointed out. Go ahead, my brother. Yes.
Sometimes he makes music to brainwash you.
Wow, you heard what he said? Shaitan creates the music to brainwash you. I've never heard that one. Brainwash. I never heard that one. That's a great, great concept because that's just what it does. Music to brainwash. Now, this is dunya now. We're going to step on some toes today, right? Rightfully, nicely, right? Because musical instruments is actually part of dunya, right? And I think many of us, we come from a culture of music, right? We love music and things. It makes us feel good. They say music calms the savage beast. No, I say it makes you into a beast. If back in my time, you right?
Right?
You agree that, right? Back in my time, I'm gonna tell you why. I love what you said, brother. This is really good. I can ride off that. Back in my days, I used to be in the clubs, right? And the music that they used to play did something to your body chemistry. So if it was a certain beat, and this is what they used to do in Africa too, certain beats used to hypnotize. Certain beats they used to play on the drums, and the people will dance into seances and they hypnotize themselves. They go into these rituals, right? And they be dancing around, spinning around, right? Right? Now, today they spin on their heads, their backs. Remember back in the breaking dancing and stuff like this? Look what the music do. People looking like, right? You're right, brother. Hypnotized. And they be in the party and they be, right? And everybody's like hypnotized from this music. And we thinking we having a good time. And when they play a good music, the music back then, they used to talk about who they shot, who they did this and did that. But the music did something to us. It made us feel gangsterous, like tough. And you got a guy rapping about the block that he came from, and you happen to come from that block, and you be like, yeah, and then all of a sudden people take their guns out and start shooting in the air. That's the clubs that I used to be in, right? Because it's music that makes you feel good, but it's actually dangerous. It hypnotizes you. It makes you do things that are actually outside of the human nature, right? It causes what we call turab, like in the heart, like dirt, right? In the heart. It makes, and even though you feel good about it, so the magic of this music that he talks about, the brainwashing, it puts you in different trances. So if they play music that makes you sad, you cry. One that you feel that you're in love, right? So anytime you have back then when you had boyfriend and girlfriends and stuff, when you broke up with someone, you'll play a song that sings to your breakup. And you'll sit down, break up to make up. You know, that's all we do. You know, and all that, and you hear it, and it's making you feel good, sad, it makes you feel, oh, that's way back, right? It makes you feel sad, happy, pleasurable, but it's all, like he said, it's hypnotizing you, right? That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that his ummah will consider wine, silk shirts for men, alcohol, beverages, and gold, right? They will make it seem like it's halal. Istahilulahum, right? And when you ista is like to seek, to make something lawful. Well, if it's lawful, you don't have to seek. So the interpretation to it is that people will try to justify listening to musical instruments in order to rationalize why they do it. So when you seek to make it halal when it's haram, it means you either make excuses why you listen to it, or you say, hey, I can get a nasheed. It's halal, you know. But what you got to understand, ma'asib, the musical instruments is the thing that the Prophet was talking about. The flute, the piano, the saxophone. Every musical instrument was the instrument of shaitan, except the duff, right? The duff drum, right? Except that one, right? So the music makes the people feel good, and so they don't find nothing wrong with it. But that is part of dunya, and he he uses it to make us brainwash, right? But this is what dunya is. What else? That we now know that dunya is not the world, it's the things in the world, right? The things, so now go ahead, brother.
Cell phones.
Cell phones, okay, but we would say that we can use these things, you know, it's necessary.
People can use them for that.
Gotcha.
A 5-year-old in kindergarten was saying, he was saying inappropriate stuff that he got from his phone.
Gotcha. You see that? How shaitan comes through technology, right? That's right. So, just like dunya, Allah says, get your share. So there is a share of this dunya that's halal. But then there's another share that's unlawful for us that I believe is captivating our youth today. And we need to focus on this because the reality of this dunya needs to be cultivated to let our children who are growing up in this new day and time with different challenges so that we can be able to counteract it. I think our methodologies are old-fashioned. The way we've been raised and the discipline that we've been given can no longer be used in the time of these children today. And that's the sad part about the parents. They think just because we were caught in a different era We had those traditions, customs, discipline. We had those parents in the home that made sure that they were getting cultivated. Rather, for me, I was not Muslim, but we had a tight Christian family, right? And so therefore we didn't do certain things. We had to go to church every Sunday. But it was cultivating manners, morals, and being able to stay away from particular things. We couldn't have girlfriends, right? In fact, a girl couldn't sit on your porch. If you sit on the porch, you get whipped. You know, they even had concept from Islam, right? So, but today is a different challenge, especially what we have today. It's different challenges. You have to be able to enter their world, right? And understand their challenges before just saying, this is haram, right? This is no good, right? All those things. You got to really start teaching them why. So I come to find this method so they can actually visualize and see what we're talking about. You mentioned, brother, the despicable thing about the cell phone is that you have access to get to things that's unlawful, that's very dangerous. What's another tool of dunya? Another tool. You guys know it. Okay,
Money.
Money. Okay, money. We're going to get back to that too.
Oh, video games?
Video games. Good. Do you play video games?
The good ones.
The good ones. Okay. How about you? That's good.
TV?
TV. Great. Good to have my brother.
Phone.
Yeah, the phone? Okay. Another phone. Right? Go ahead, my sister. He said playing games on the phone. It's definitely a distraction. That's one of the words in the ayat.
YouTube.
YouTube. Absolutely. What else? Somebody just go ahead, brother. Pencil? What is that? Like a writing pencil?
Yeah.
So tell me how that is.
When you write, you can change stuff. Like writing it, that can do anything in the future.
Oh. So you say you can write stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, drawing. Things that are not permissible to draw. Yeah, this is good. All of this is dunya. Everything that the Prophet ﷺ spoke against has to be despicable. Has to be based in vile. No matter what we like about it. No matter how innocent we think it is. It's still dunya. It's those things that are very despicable. Right? So we said money. Now we need money as a necessity. So tell me, why is it a problem? You want him to answer or you? She wants to answer.
I think when you excessively chase after it,
Absolutely. The piling up of the money and the use that you use for it. Go ahead, my brother.
When it kind of gets addicting, look.
Addicted.
And also,
Good word.
it takes away from people, and like when it's like you're always working to get money, but you never work on your deed and stuff.
Wow. You heard that? He said, oh, you could, hey brother, you want to sit up here with me? Do this thing with me, man. That's great, brother. That's right. They work so much. They so much chasing the dunya beyond its measures. You know, shahwa means to eagerly love something and chase after it, right? That's what the shahwa is. So he said that they go out, that it takes away you learning your deen. This is really good. We got to get back to this. Go ahead, my sister.
I want to chase Allah.
Wow. That's wonderful. That is great. Who's your father and mother?
Abdullah.
They're here?
He's the president of Isni.
Oh, my brother. I know that'd be good. No wonder. MashaAllah. Okay. Wow. Anybody else? Any more? These are good answers. This is a good crowd. Man. Yes, brother. See, they're sharp. They're speaking, bringing real experiences to show what dunya is, tangible things. that mother tell you to go pray and then you do what? You stay on your phone, right? Wow, distraction. Distraction. Lahu. Right? That's one of the attributes in that verse. We get you and then you.
Clothes.
Clothes. Tell us. Oh, this is good. This is good. Come on, let's hear it.
Revealing clothes like crop tops and skin tight clothes.
Ooh, skin tight clothes. Dunya. That's right. Right? So we see all these manifestations. You go, sister.
I was gonna add on to what you said, when like your parents tell you to pray and then you're still upset on your phone and then and then you say did you pray or not and you say yes and it drags you in and you do that you're like you should believe me a lot and yeah, basically.
That's great. And add on with the cell phones and stuff and how the cell phone becomes more prioritized than the priority itself. And you're on the phone talking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And at that moment, that thing becomes a problem for you. Like they say, and it's not actually haram, but they say if it interferes with an obligatory duty, that thing becomes haram for you because you personalized it and took priority over that and instead of the important thing, right? So that is good. Distractions, diversions. Who else? Go ahead, sister.
When you like something and take on things out of your weakness, he tries to make you lie more.
Lie. That's also lying. So Shaitan finds out your weakness and make you lie about things. Can you give us an example what that is? Like lie about what? That you made salat and you didn't? Yeah. Right? All of these things is part of dunya. All the despicable. Remember now, look at the word, right? Low, base, vowel. Anything, all the things you pointed out are vowel things. It's the things in the world that they call real estate. So tangible things to them are real, right? But those things could be debasing. Go ahead, my sister.
This is an example. Like I broke my mom's vase. I didn't want to get mad. I tried to lie, but I didn't because I know lying is haram, and I didn't want to lie because I know my mom is really, really kind, and I know she's gonna make me punished, but I know Allah will be proud of telling the truth.
MashaAllah. Absolutely. This is wonderful, man. Y'all make this job for me, this lecture, easy. Yeah, very cultivated. MashaAllah. My brother? Obsessions. Wow. Tell us that more about that.
If you're obsessed with trying to be like a famous sports person, Allah is always try and do the things that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam like when you're too obsessed with the other things, that's always taking away from the trying to do what the Prophet did.
He said about sports, right? A person trying to be a popular person.
Yeah.
Right? Tell us more about that. What is he trying? What goes on? He's trying to be this popular person.
Say someone wants to be as strong as a sports player, he will go to the gym more often than he is trying to go to the masjid. And he would use the gym as an excuse.
Another priority violation. Yes. Doing more of those things. Gym and all that workout, but you less in the masjid. Great point. Yes, my sister. Dancing. All right now.
Jealousy.
Oh, jealousy. Okay. Jealousy, definitely. How does that look in terms of dunya? Because it is. It's vile to be jealous. It's base and low. You want to answer?
Yeah, if you're jealous of people, it's just not a good thing because you're going to be like, oh, she has this and I don't. And then you just be ungrateful and think, oh, I'm poor. And then you're just going to get mad at everything and you're just not going to be the person.
That's great. Producing ungratefulness because you're comparing yourself with what they have and things of that nature, and you begin jealous because you're not grateful for what you have. That's great. Okay, you and again.
Like how the team said, like if you're on your phone and you see the adhan go off and you say, oh, I'm gonna pray later, and then soon like after the adhan you remember the adhan and you never pray that day.
Wow. So it distracts you from making the salah, right? You're saying? And then all of a sudden you're so busy and get caught up into the dunya, the things that you're doing, and then you forget to make salah. Right? That's right. This is dunya. This is a part of the things. Okay, we get him and then you again.
And then when the shaitan he whispers in your ear, and then like your parents ask you something, and you're like, why am I doing this and doing that? And then the shaitan, and then you talk about your parents behind their back.
Oh, so the shaitan begins to whisper in your ear and say the other part again. Speak up a little bit.
And then you talk behind your parents back.
Oh,
Backbiting.
y'all hear this? This is a specialty. You speak behind your parents' back when they tell you to do something, and you get angry and you don't want to do it, so you be backbiting your mother and your father. That's what you're saying, right? All of those parts. Now, anybody do that here?
No.
You're not. Look at her. She's like. Anybody? Let's test your truthfulness. Who does that here?
I don't do that. I help my mom.
You help your mom, alhamdulillah, right? I know you guys ain't gonna tell that one. Okay, brother, and then you.
I helped my dad when he was making me sleep.
Yeah? You help him? And how you help him?
I helped him. He called me and he told me the way he got home. I gave him.
You do what?
I gave my dad a screwdriver when he asked me.
Oh, so you assist him when he's fixing something, you give him the screwdriver. So you're supporting him. Okay, that's great. That's good. Because now that's beneficial. That's in the dunya. We do other good things too now in the dunya. There's good things too we want to talk about in this dunya. Yes, sister. Speak up, say it again. Oh, this is great. When you rationalize or try to convince yourself something is haram when it is, right? This is true, right? And why do you think people do that? So you're saying because why do the people make excuses knowing that something is haram and still try to make excuses? Why? Because what? Because of what?
They're lazy.
Because they're lazy? Who said that? So they can do it. The only reason why you try to make excuses for something like that is because you want to do it. And that's part of the dunya. The worldly things is making excuses to continue to indulge in worldly things. And that's a good one. Who had the hand first? Okay, good.
My mom is gonna spend money on the cake. That's why I help her because my birthday's in 6 days.
Really? All right. Okay. Are you doing it for the cake?
No, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Is the idolizing superstars and sports.
You see that? We went.
Rappers, even superstars.
Oh, you heard what she said? Idolization. Idolizing imams, scholars, rappers, singers. I hope no one has pictures of any superstar on the wall in their homes, because that is part of dunya, idolizing, right? The other word was la'ib, play in sports, right? So you don't have to go to great adventure. The dunya is the great adventure.
But you can't play sports?
Yeah, you could.
Oh.
But the sport play is that they're doing things in idle times. They're doing things idly, when there's something more important that they should be doing. And you said it. You said they're doing more of the sports than the masjid and the studies. And then they're putting their time and investing their time in something that's inferior, right, to the other thing. Sports, masjid, right? That sport play and idol is inferior to the deen and the masjid. So yeah, that this unbalanced situation. But this is a good point about so how do you, part of the dunya is idolizing imams and scholars? This is a question now. How does that happen?
Well, it happens when you think that like the man, well, when you idolize the man, it happens because you think like he's like really smart or something, or like he was like would like also trust, because if you trust him a lot, you can also like idolize him.
Right, that's good. This is good because you got to know history. We know there are people who have done this at the time of Nuh, and also the Bani Israel. Remember them? They did these things. Yes, brother.
I was going to say, when you take their word and you don't really try looking into it, or if you take their word and someone else tells you something else, but you still take that person's word.
Absolutely. So here it is how you do that. The imams, scholars, you take their words as if it's legislation, right? And you take their words just the basis on their title, scholar or imam, right? All of those things. And you don't take from where they got. And so you follow their opinions as if it was the Quran and Sunnah. Now, there is somewhere where we respect the scholars. But I think today we don't know how to use them, right, for their knowledge, their benefit, but not to blindly follow them or to take them like we take the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. So yeah, that's a good point. Now, we got a lot of hands up. Go ahead, and then you, then Sister Father.
Another way is competing with one another, trying to outdo one up other people.
Yes, competing with one another.
The only reason why you did this is because, the other person got to do that.
Yes, the competition. Allah mentions another thing about dunya in that verse. Competition. This world's life is nothing but competition, right? Where the person is trying to outdo the person. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabas, their competition was always for the good, right? Abu Bakr and Umar, right? They would try to get to the lady to give the charity before him.
With the days,
Right,
right?
absolutely. So that's good competition, but the way Allah is using it in this dunya is the ones that people lose out. And when you compete, you do the expense of somebody's demise. It's capitalism, right? You capitalize and get on top at the expense of someone's destruction, right? Okay, let's get someone new. Go ahead, my brother.
So if don't keep up with the Joneses.
Don't keep up with the Joneses. That's right, that's dunya. Trying to imitate and look at people's success as a model for what you would want to be. So in the Quran, it talks about that. Do not let your eyes go and look for what others have. And anybody remember what people did this in the time of Musa alayhi salam? Who? What he said about
Pharaoh.
Okay.
And the Ben Israel.
Yeah, it was in that time. But it was someone who was, like you said, when they're looking and trying to entertain themselves off of other people's dunya, right? And they wanted the light of it, right? Y'all remember the story? They seen what he had, and they wished that they had it too. Anybody remember? Go ahead, baby, come. Revenge is another. We want to talk about that too. We're going to answer this question. Yes, brother. Not particular. I want you to go back in the story that there were some people who were saying, we wish we had what he had. Anybody know his name?
Prophet Ibrahim.
Nope. Yusuf? Say it loud. Qarun. Remember, he was one of the richest dudes. He was a sellout. He was Musa alayhi salam's people. And he came with all his chariot of gold. They used to have so much bling bling that they had chariots to carry it. And they seen him coming out just like the people do. You know, you see the guys with the goat, you're like, man, wish I had one of those. You know, back in my days, used to have these 190 Benzes. They used to come out, and you would want that because he got it. Well, of course, they had illegal money, and they was getting it that way. But the people came out, and they were like, we wish we had the like of Qarun, right? But what happened to Qarun? Anybody knows?
He got eaten by the earth.
Wow. And how did he, on the behalf of who? How did he get there?
By Musa?
What did he do?
I don't know really much of this.
You got it though, that's happening. That's good.
Prophet Musa, there was a lady, Karun told the lady, to tell the people to kill Prophet Musa, so he told Allah to tell the earth to swallow Karun.
Allahu Akbar.
No gold, no nothing, and I got also another question. Can I have water?
Yeah, well, they have water here? Yes, go ahead. Very much. Hold on, let's get someone new. Okay, sister. They do what? The people are lazy to read and listen to Quran. That's good. Yeah. All of these is the distraction. So it goes to this word. Oh, should I move this one? Oh, I can erase this or anyone?
Oh, I have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll go.
Thank you, brother. You're very helpful. You do need to sit up here with me. I'll put this one over here and finish writing here. Okay, remember your questions. Oh, Fatima, I'm sorry. You were supposed to say something. No, we want to hear you. Come on. Yes, we want to hear you.
There's something despicable, right?
Yes.
Men
you,
wanting to
brother.
be women and women wanting to be men.
Right. This is Dunia, right? Men want to be women and women wanting to be men. And I know this is the greatest challenge that you're living in today. But most of you guys go to Islamic schools and things, right?
We don't have that here.
Right? Okay. Well, I'm not criticizing that right now. That's not really the issue. We'll talk to the parents later about that, right? But your challenge is in these schools where you're starting to see this fad, like it's a style, like young teenagers, girls hugging on other girls like one of them is a man or masculine or whatever, right? And you see these things happening and people are being sympathetic to these things. Oh, they have a right to do this, they have a right to do that, as long as they don't bother nobody. You know, the sympathizers. Anybody know what happened to Lut's wife? Go ahead, brother.
Oh, so it was like, she was like, well, there's a lot of like trans people in his people, so Allah sent like the big dust storm.
Okay, what was her position about the people living in that land? Yes, brother. She was a sympathizer, yes. A sympathizer who seems to like, well, you know, even though she wasn't probably one of them that was indulging their behavior, but she did a lot of events for them. She would always go to the city and do the events and be involved in it, and she was like, she didn't feel anything about it, right? And so your challenge is that too. She said a good one, men trying to be women and women trying to be men. And what did the Prophet ﷺ said about these people? They are what? Anybody know about these individuals? Those acts?
Worshiping, like they were worshiping Shaitan.
Well, they are following Shaitan, but he cursed them. The ones who try to be women and men try to be women and men, women try to be men. They were cursed. It's a very serious thing. And it's very vile. It's very based, as we said. Very low, right? It's very deficient in manners, right? Okay, brother.
Because all they change themselves the way Allah intended them to be.
Say it again.
They're changing themselves the way Allah intended them to be. Allah said you're made as a boy. Why are you changing the boy?
Right. Oh, so you're saying they're trying to change the fair nature
Yeah.
that Allah created. Yes. And this also, the artificial things that are happening, people are trying to get the men, women trying to get what a woman has and a man, all of that, the changes, they're distorting, all of this is part of dunya, right? Go ahead, brother.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Should I hang out with people that don't know much about their religion and don't even know what their religion is?
So you said,
should people hang out with people that don't know much about their religion and don't know what their religion is in general?
you heard this question? He said, should people not be around people who don't know their deen and they're irreligious, right? They're not practicing.
Well, they do, but they don't know anything, basically.
So you saying they practice, but they don't know what they don't. They don't know how to what?
For example, I asked my friend, because we were talking about religion, I asked him, where's Jesus, since he's still alive? He said, I don't know, go ask another person. And then when I asked him, she said to go ask the other person. Like, no one knew where Jesus was. Like, Jesus was in a place.
Right.
Like, they wouldn't know.
So this is a good question. Then also it leads to the company that we keep, people who are part of dunya, right? The company, like, the Prophet ﷺ said, be careful who you befriend, because their way of life will become yours. So, if someone is engrossed in being in the dunya like that, it's very necessary for us to make sure that we don't get close to individuals who are of that kind of world. We have to make distinctions. The Quran is also furqan. It distinguishes between these type of behaviors and these kind of mentalities. Yes, sister. Say it again. Temptation is part of dunya. And who are we? Those things that we're talking about are part of Shaitan's lure, right? He tempts us to want these things, to go after these things, to search these things, right? So he goes to this word, right? Laha, which is one of the words in the Quran, right? To become delighted, right? With whatever the thing is. So much that he or she was diverted, right, from what's more important. As you all gave the answers to this definition without even knowing it, but it is one of the things that Allah says the attribute of this dunya is lahu, right? Laha, to become delighted with these things, the money, the gold, right, and all the cell phones. So I didn't hear one thing that I'm thinking you guys are ducking from it. There was another distraction that I didn't hear, and I thought I would be the first one. Okay, Facebook, right? How about that? We got.
It's already a hard business.
I think TikTok is
Yeah,
more,
not Facebook.
not Facebook.
So let me ask you this. So everybody's on TikTok now.
Oh,
TikTok,
Instagram.
Instagram.
No one cares about TikTok. It's all about YouTube.
People are on TikTok.
TikTok, Instagram.
Okay, damn, I am old, right?
It is.
So, well, hold on. So how are these things part of dunya?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Because basically what I think you're trying to say is when, like, for example, like him, he's watching Instagram at a young age, it influences how he thinks and stuff like that. Like how children think.
It creates a false imagination.
And like we're basically just like watching different people, and we're basically getting farther away from our deen.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. That's great.
You said something very important at this time. It's like influencers. They come in like people are influencing how you think, how you should dress, how you should spend your money. So that's big.
So this is great. Influences, bad influences that creates a following. Oh, there's a book, Psychology of Crowds, right? Very important book. How people follow the crowd versus their individual reflective judgment. When they're in crowds, they make the crowd the standard of why they do. And you know, in this society, like you said, influences. Everybody wants to follow the new thing today, right? The new times when they're getting influenced by things, right? You all right, brother? Right? So these are for the grown-ups. I mean, I believe these young teenagers can read these books too.
Yeah.
You know, very good book. Influences, right? Or who we have next? Oh, let's get someone new. Say it again. Yes. Gambling. Good. That's a good one. Gambling as well. So there's a nice way of gambling too. What is it?
One-sided. One-sided. Oh, yeah.
Gambling?
That's right, brother. What's the other one? Lotto. Lotto. Yeah. Game of chance. Right?
Wait, that's haram or is it halal?
Lotto, yeah. Lottery tickets.
I thought it was something else.
Okay, yeah, mashallah. That's part of dunya, yes.
For example, that TV is haram because if you like watch like anime, it shows like bad stuff, and then you might copy it.
This is true. So there's a deciphering with the TV, things that are not really good, they're distractions. So, and then it influences you to do what again? To copy it. Do you not know we don't supposed to draw pictures of people?
I thought it
Draw.
was a neck.
No, it's face of a human being.
That's all my
Yeah, I want you to know that. Y'all know that?
Yeah.
Drawing people is not permissible. You can draw the trees and everything. And why do you think that? Why the Prophet ﷺ is saying this? Okay, let's get some. You have a lot. Let's see what you got. You heard that? Come on and say that louder. Right, because you're imitating, you cannot create what Allah has created. Right? You see, the sculpturing and the drawing and stuff like that. Anybody else? Okay, let's get her first, and her, and then you. This one, right? Go ahead, sister.
I was gonna say, like, is it drawing eyes haram? Isn't that the evil eye?
Yeah, drawing of the faces, everything that's on the face of the people, we should not draw those things. Right, yes, absolutely. Your turn, and then your turn, and then his turn. Ladies first, brother.
Yeah, but that's sexist.
Go ahead, sister. Who? So she said marking people behind their backs, which is basically backbiting, right? It is despicable. So no, you got to understand, these things are not off the topic. So because really we just thought dunya was the world, right? And everything they're pointing out is the ingredients of what really dunya is. It's the things in the world, like backbiting, low things, slandering, all the things you're mentioning. Okay, sister, and then you go, brother. You next.
I forgot.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Go ahead, brother, then him.
So basically, when it's not staying in your place, you want
Not staying where?
in your place.
In your place, what you mean, like stay in your lane, as they say?
Yeah, basically that.
Well, actually, so when we're driving and you don't stay in your lane or put the signal light, what happens?
You get in a car crash.
Yeah, so you should stay in your lane. And so it's the results of the results of it, the consequences, right? So we can see that. If we don't stay in our lane, like the Prophet ﷺ said that being a good Muslim is what? Stay in your lane. But he said minding your business.
Yeah.
So that's like stay in your lane the way we talk, right? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, brother.
I was gonna go on the topic of pictures. So you also can't wear pictures, correct?
Say it again.
You also can't wear pictures.
Like, yeah, you mean of you and people? You mean
a human, like say there's something on your shirt that has eyes.
Oh yeah, right. Those things too.
I was gonna ask like more of a, okay, so you know how there's Puma pants and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, can we wear those type of pants because there's no eyes on it, but there's still a Puma on there. So
you mean symbols and stuff like that? Well,
the animal's still on there.
Yeah, it's an animal on there.
Yeah. There's no like eyes and stuff.
Right. And so even the animals, figures of the animals, we would like to refrain from those things too. You know, because Aisha radiallahu anha, she had curtains with figures, and the Prophet said it was distracting, and he took it down. Right. So yeah, all those things. Right. Go ahead, sister.
What about like drawing like animals or like clothes or like food?
Say it again.
Like what about like drawing animals or like clothes?
Animals or clothes? Yeah, that's what he was talking about. We don't want to have those things. That's part of anything that the Prophet forbade us to do. It's part of when we talk about the things foul in the dunya, anything that's prohibited has to be foul, right?
So you can't draw like those things.
Right. They talked about drawing the trees, you know, the nature, mountains, the grass, things of that nature, water. Yeah, you draw those things. Yeah. And this, yeah.
Wouldn't the father say an aspect of drawing the human? Because we all know that Allah created everything. So, like, wouldn't that mean we can't draw in general?
No, you can draw.
Well, like, I'm just saying, like, if we can't draw human because we can't create what Allah created, then how can we draw grass and trees and stuff?
So he specifically said, and give him the answer. Why we can't draw the humans? You cannot create what Allah creates.
Yeah, that's
So the human. Huh? So yes, Allah created everything, but the Prophet ﷺ legislates that specifics of what you can draw. So he laid down what you can draw of the things that Allah has created. And those things that you can't, and those things that you could. You see? Yeah, but that's a great question though. All right, who's next? Go ahead. Blackmail. So she's pointing out the things for the topic of dunya. She said blackmail. And explain to us what that means.
When you try to make somebody do it, or else you'll like get out a secret or something.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
When you blackmail somebody, it's like you're gonna make them do something, and you know that they don't have a choice.
Right. So you make someone do something and you blackmail, or like say like, you know, there's something they know about your secret or something, then I'll tell it if you don't give me this money or something like that nature. This is all part of dunya, right? Because these are the things are in the world that people are doing that distracts people, diverts people, cause harm to people, right? And all those things. We got 6 minutes, right? So let's finish doing this right here. So laha, to become delighted with so much that he or she was diverted from what's more important. And what would be more important? The hereafter. So they're so involved in this world, right? So we're pointing out all those things, right? Okay. Now here's another word, right? That is in the Quran. Lahu, right? It means diversion, right? Pastime, right? Sport, or play, right? vain, idle. This is a big one. I want to know if y'all know what this means. Foolish pleasure.
Oh.
Let's see who's gonna go first. We're gonna give you a shot.
Like doing something that's not smart, but like it gives you like pleasure, like it makes you feel good.
She got it. This is an old terminology though, back in the days, and she knows it. Foolish pleasure is that you enjoy doing foolish things, right? Even though it's foolish, you get pleasure in doing it, right? Go ahead.
Foolish pleasure, you like sometimes act funny, but it's actually not funny to other people.
That's not
Okay.
true.
So what is that?
It's not your place to correct.
What you say, brother? It's not what?
It's not true all the time because some people find it amusing and some people don't.
So it depends on if it's not doing what to someone that it could become okay. Right? Now this is deep. Then it ceases. This is very important to Dunia, right? So he said it may be that what?
And maybe to some people it might be funny and to some people it won't. Because like it matters where their heart is and where their intention is on what that person's doing. Because like if someone fell, someone would laugh because they find that amusing as a mean way.
This is a good point.
People won't laugh.
Right.
They just feel bad.
So even though somebody gets a pleasure out of something bad just because they found it funny, but if someone gets hurt and things of that nature, then this is not good other, it's not proper to be involved in that. 10 minutes. Okay, we'll get to you. So now look, let's focus on this for a minute, right? So this word means diversion and pastime. So this dunya, you said that they be in the gym all the time, passing their time.
And making it an excuse not to do it.
Right, and not doing the most important things like going to the masjid. Yeah. So they pass their time, they get diverted from what's more important. And you gave all the examples. You said the phone, social media, all these things that you pointed out that makes people forget, right? So the sport time, vain, idle, foolish pleasure. He delights himself with and occupies him and diverts him, and then it ceases. What ceases? His dunya is gone. After him doing all these things, right? Being involved in all these things, and he thinks that it's going to last because the pleasure he gets from it makes him chase it so he can get more and more of it, right? And so what happens? That's why we said what? Dunya is what? Temporary. The pleasure, the things they're chasing, all the things that they think is that's beneficial, it ceases, it ends. Their dunya is gone. Allah says He wipes it away, just like water falls on the rock and it washes away, it just goes. Right? Okay, sister.
I have a question, whenever I fall, I laugh at myself because it doesn't hurt so much and I find it funny, is that foolish pleasure?
No, that's a coping skill. She says when she falls, she laughs at herself. It could be a coping skill because you don't want to marinate into the pain. So you laugh. Oh, you try to, give yourself some confidence that sometimes we frighten the children, right? Especially the women. They may fall on the floor, right? Oh my God. And the kid wasn't going to cry until the mother ran over there with her emotions, and then the kid would start crying, right? He wasn't going to cry. But soon as you frightened him more than his fall, right? So sometimes that happens. So I understand what you mean. You're saying that you laugh so that you won't fall into the pain. That could be a coping skill. You're not mocking yourself because you didn't want to fall. You just fell. So no, that's not the same. Go ahead. Oh, no, she goes. Say it again. Again, see, she's on point, man. This is about Dunia. She's staying right on point. Dressing not decent. Very important, brothers and sisters. Dressing without being decent. It's very important, right? Let's talk about that and give us an example. You heard what she said? I didn't say it. She said, she said it. The women who are not wearing the hijab, the khimar, the jilbab, right? And they do what? Not wearing it, right? That's zina. They beautify themselves because they're looking to dress to impress. And, right?
Or to not get bullied.
Say it again.
Or to not get bullied. Or to not get bullied.
Not to get bullied?
Because with men, it's not noticeable that they're Muslim because of 9/11. But with women, it's like more noticeable.
I got what he's saying.
So you can call them a terrorist.
Women are on the front line when it comes to Islam, and it's their jilbab or niqab. It shows that they are Muslims. Other Muslims, they hide, right?
Yeah.
Take off the kufi and shave their beards,
Yeah.
right? Or change their name from Abdul Samid to Sam.
Even if it doesn't matter on the name or like the beard, because like if you're an Arab but you're a Christian, people are gonna let you go.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're like European and you're Muslim, they're not gonna let you go.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
that's a good perspective.
You know what I'm saying?
Good perspective. That's great. How many minutes we got? Y'all, this is a great audience. And this is definitely, y'all made the job easy.
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. So you see, y'all understand what dunya is, right? Better understanding? Right? These definitions give you a better understanding, right? Okay. So we got some, who else is new here? Go ahead. I'm hearing from the two saying, you're coming up with good points. Those are real good examples of dunya. Go ahead.
For example, once on the bus, someone was getting bullied, but she wasn't crying, she was just smiling, but she was actually sad.
She was sad.
Yeah.
So now tie that into dunya. What is that relating to this dunya?
Like she pretends to be happy to not make them to not get tattletale. Does she be happy so her parents doesn't find out what's going on?
Okay, so you're saying someone made her feel bad
Yeah.
and sad, and she hid her sadness. So you're saying someone was making mockery of her.
Yeah.
And she didn't want her mother to know these things, right? So how does that relate to dunya? Because it does, but I want to see how you can tie that in. The foul things. Isn't it foul to be bullying someone?
Yeah.
Right? It is. So we do. So we on point. She's on point. Right? Okay. He goes first, didn't he?
It could go in that way, actually another thing. Because if someone fakes that they weren't bullied at school, they could use it to their advantage to fake that they did something that their parents told them or they had to do.
So how does that relate to dunya? So that means trickery.
Yeah, trickery.
Manipulation. Yeah, manipulation is foul and vile and is part of dunya. It's something that's low to do. So now you see now you know what dunya is, the things that we're talking about. It points out and makes things more relevant for us, right? So that we can know what that is, and then we can, tomorrow we'll talk about what are the things to protect us from those distractions. Okay, so think about this. That's going to be tomorrow, inshallah. What are the things that we can do to protect us from this dunya and this distraction? Okay, go ahead, sister. Say it again. Sure too, go ahead. Man, she comes up with some great stuff. Judging someone by their race. This is true. This is dunya. It's foul. To judge someone just because they are a different ethnic party from you. This is to make that the standard because Allah created us to be who we are, right? And we can't do nothing about that. right? So that is a thing, a foul thing to do, a real debased thing to try to make someone feel bad because of where they come from. That's great. What's the other one? Hacking? Oh, we didn't bring that one up. The hackers. Anybody know how to hack in here?
A little bit.
You said a little? You said a little? Incredible. So we got to stay away from this hacking. Hey, brother, you're not hacking nobody, are you?
No, I'm not doing it like that. I like hacking the game. It's like
I have lots of time. I have so much time.
I don't think I have to my computers. Because they were being mad at North Side to hack it to make it work.
Yeah.
I gave the flash.
Monticello. Okay. You had two already. Who goes next? Okay, anybody go first? Let's get him. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I have a question. I know you already said this, but what are your true thoughts on music?
Oh, okay.
From your perspective.
I like that. This guy thinks. That's good. That's good. Good question. 2 minutes. I'm going to answer that, and that's it, okay? For me, it's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Even if I desired the music, I will have to sacrifice myself for what the Prophet ﷺ said that's unlawful. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Let's listen to him.
When did he say anything about music besides the instruments?
Yeah.
He never said anything about the vocals.
That's good.
When they
So,
sang for him, when he came into
right. He's right. So, singing, Gina, right? Singing about the wars and the battles and things in the remembrance of Allah without instruments. Without instruments. This is permissible. But this today, what we're hearing today, that's the part that is unlawful.
But it matters what you listen to.
Say it again.
It matters what you listen to, right?
It does matter. He got a good point. It's what you're listening to. Because you could be listening to something foul. Right? That's true. Okay, my brothers and sisters, we're going to have to end. I know we can go on and on. Okay, but we have another session tomorrow, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Okay, everybody have a seat. It's not. I'm going to tell you guys what's to expect, inshallah. So we're going to pause, inshallah. We'll have some light snacks for you guys. Inshallah ta'ala, so you guys can get snack, relax, bathroom, wudu, you guys do, inshallah, take care of that. Okay? And we're going to come back for another session, inshallah. Those who have a lot of questions, one thing I would like you guys to do is we have a question and answer box in the back. You have a question, get up and go right down, because we're going to have a Q&A session just for you guys, okay? We want the chef to continue on teaching the lesson, inshallah. So if you have questions, go back there, right up in the box. We're going to prioritize those first. After that, we're going to do open questions. Do you guys understand? So our second session, we want him to focus and continue on the depth analysis. The break, we're going to do 15 minutes because we started late. Okay, 15-minute break, inshallah, because we started late. After 15 minutes, we'll come back, and then we have pizza for you guys after the second session. You're welcome.
Yeah, we got pizza, guys.
All right.
That's
So,
good.
it will be, the salat is at 1 o'clock. Now, good question, okay? Okay, no, hold on, have a seat. So we're going to have the sisters go first, line up.
Oh, you're sexist.
There it goes again.
The sisters first, and then the brothers, inshallah. All right, my brothers have a seat. Girls, you guys can line up. And get a snack.
I know, right?
He's doing really good. He's traveling everywhere. I believe he probably is traveling every Saturday. He usually be gone on Saturday. I did. I was in a Christian family. I became Muslim like 33 years ago.
How are you? Yes, you good?
So I can talk about it. How you doing? It's in Hadith, Sahih Bukhari. You'll find it on under music, the section of music. Musical instruments. Remember now, musical instruments. All of them except the deaf. Right. Yes.
Stop before you Hada, come here. Oh, here. The camera's looking at you. I can see it right there. I can see
Infinity number 1.
Wait, Hada. Hold up. Let him cook.
It's more also it's a terrible lack of meaning. It's not like you forgot.
Hold up.
It's actually intentional that you forgot because you allowed something else to interfere. And you're blaming it.
Hold up.
So they all
Wait, it's orange and it's next to be red. Hold up.
It depends on what it is. But anything that diverts you from the most important thing.
So, hello.